Hi everybody, this is my dollhouse, Casa Moneypit, and when I tell you a little bit more about it, you'll understand why I named it that. Before we get started building a house, I want to show you the one that I did. This is the first dollhouse that I've built, and I'm going to go into some detail about the exterior of this house, and then in another video I will show you the interior because there's too much going on. What I will say about this house is I built the structure and I built the base separately, so the house is removable from the structure. The tower is also removable, and so is the chimney, and that way I can access, stuff that I want to change out or wires and things like that. This house was based on a house in Cabbagetown, Toronto. And it's called the Witch's House. And I just saw the exterior and there was so much going on and I thought, there's a challenge. Anyway, let's get into it. My bricks are from Richard Stacy, and that's a shop in England. So these bricks are real mortar, real bricks. I've had this door forever. So if you see something you like, you should buy it and save it. I think I had that door for 40 years. All of the flower beds are removable, so I can change them out for the seasons. And I made the flowers and the shrubs, and a lot of it was made by stealing my neighbor's twigs and gluing them into a base that I could glue flowers on. The wisteria is from Georgie Steeds, and she has a shop on Etsy. And I liked her stuff because it's the most realistic. I got a lot of these flowers from Taiwan on Etsy. I made the windows that I couldn't find. I made the stained glass. Here's the removable tower. Let's see if I can do this without, so you can see inside. I might need to change out the light bulbs or whatever's going on in there. Okay, I'll put this back. This tree, I made the tree, and the tree is removable, so I might want to put a pine tree there in the wintertime. This fence is a mess because my cat jumped on it 3 times, and that's why I've had to hide the house in this room. The porch is made from coffee stir sticks, and a lot of the wood I used for this house for trim is just random scraps. To get the right scale for the roof shingles, I had to cut every single 1/12 inch roof shingle to 1/2 inch, each one by hand. And then I glued them all onto the house, painted them with kind of a charcoal, and then I brushed mortar mix to give them an aged look. All of these little tiny leaves are cry-cut leaves that I glued into the gutters, and then I painted them with a wash. There's something called Fred's. It's like a, what do you call it? It's a watered down weathering mix. I think I got it on miniatures.com, and it works really well because the leaves in the gutters would be kind of messy and icky. I cut all of these gingerbread trims with a Dremel moto saw. I really like that saw. And I just kind of made up what was going on in this tower with just scrap pieces I just glued here and there. I really love the combination of red and green. I put 1/12 inch shingles all over the house where you see shingles, and then I realized that that's the wrong scale. And so I tore them all out, and then I made these shingles to one, it's like each one is 3/8 inch, and I made them in watercolor paper. And then I painted them with Ferro and ball paint, and then I added that Fred's weathering mix. I really like that stuff. And then glued them on. And this is the right scale. And scale is everything when you're building a dollhouse. If you don't have the right scale, it's just going to look weird. And if you take a shortcut, you're going to regret it later. I tried to add as many details as I could. Things that I'd find. I think this is just copper tape up here. I've never been on a Victorian roof, but I assume that would be flashing. And I'd have a vent. I'd cut these bricks with the Dremel, the 3000, the Dremel tool. And when I mean cut, I mean shape, because you want to have that kind of shape wherever you see a curved brick. And if you do it with a, If you do it with a sandpaper, it's gonna take you 10 years and a few minutes if you do it with a Dremel saw. And then this right here is just eggshell. What do you call that stuff? Egg carton. And then I painted it. And then I used a little bit of that stuff they use for trains. I gotta find out the name of it. It's like a little jar of loose moss. And it turned out pretty realistic for what it is. This grass is just peel and stick moss that you get at Michael's. And I bought a little bag of rocks. Let's see. I painted some gold metallic because this Victorian in real life had about 16 colors. So I wanted to add as many colors as I could. And in old Victorians, you would see a metallic color. This is my kitchen. I did put a little gas gauge in here, but I didn't put electricity. But I don't think anybody's gonna notice. I had to figure out a way to put a clothesline, so I just kind of added that, whatever that is. Clothesline. And I made a little clothespin holder for it. Also, these flowers in the back come out, and I've got this pergola was made from scraps. You can see I've got little, I made these little lights by just wrapping wire around a pen and putting some tissue paper around them. Added more bricks. You can never have enough bricks. I wanted to have sort of a, like a nice design with the brick. So I used 2 colors. And I didn't buy brick that had a kind of variegated colors because it would be too much. There's too much going on with this house. I made the little orange tree. My favorite perfume is Jo Malone Orange Blossom. So I really liked to have an orange blossom tree in the backyard. I've got a boot scraper. Hose. And you can peek inside the windows. That's always fun. This is plastic. You probably recognize this kind of fencing. And what I did is I painted it with a sort of a black metallic paint, and then I rubbed or sprinkled cinnamon to give it kind of a rusty look. I didn't want it to look too obviously rusted, but the cinnamon works pretty good, pretty well. So I was happy with that. And I also did the same thing up here on the roof, on the tower roof. And I made sure and put little birds here and there because you would see real birds. If you find interesting windows, you should always buy them. Put them in your stash. I was lucky when I built this house that I was able to find window locks. They're really hard to find nowadays, if at all. And that's pretty much it. That's the outside of the house. my next video will show you the inside of the house. All right? Ciao.